Hey, what's up? Silas here. I have a bit of a cold, but I'm going to be talking about can you be racist and be a fan of professional sports in the United States of America, or probably the world in general. This could probably apply anywhere, but I'm going to be focusing on the United States of America and specifically the National Basketball Association and the National Football League. Now, recently, over the last couple of years, over the last couple of current years, there has been some racially charged issues surrounding the professional sports in in the United States of America. Now, this centers largely on Colin Kaepernick, who was a quarterback at the time, at the year when that year was current, not this current year, which I think was two current years ago. He was a quarterback for the San Francisco 49ers, and he took a knee during the singing of the national anthem. The national anthem is normally played at the start of a lot of sports. Now, this is a little sidebar. I was here in Kenya and watching Star Wars, and at the start of the film, they played the national anthem, and I was like, okay, what's going on here? People actually stood up, and even though I don't think nationalism's anywhere as close to as strong in Kenya as it is in a place like the United States of America, but people stood up, and I remembered that I was kind of caught unawares from it. I had remembered it from when I was a child, which, boys and girls, television wasn't always 24/7. I remember there was a time in Kenya when TV used to go off for, I think, from 10 o'clock at night to like 10 o'clock in the morning or something, and at the start, they would play the national anthem and then the different colored, like, bar things that they have on the television, and television broadcast would begin for the day. But anyway, I digress. So coming back to the topic, Colin Kaepernick took a knee during the national anthem. This offended a lot of people who were saying this is against the national anthem, this is against America, this is against the troops, etc., etc. And the troops, the military, and the National Football League have a rather close relationship. This going during the time when Donald J. Trump has become the president of the United States of America, and there's a rise of populist nationalist instinct or fervor in the United States of America, so this hasn't gone on too well. A lot of people are not going to the stadiums, but as I mentioned in a previous video, I don't necessarily think it's just due to this. Just costs have been going higher for something like going to an actual National Football League game. But anyway, coming back to it, so he's saying that this kneeling was ostensibly to stand up for people of color and other oppressed minorities and groups in the United States of America. He said he would not be able to stand for the flag until he believes or he feels that the flag stands equally for everyone in the country. Now, the specifics of this have not actually been fleshed out in my experience. If you can see a place where it has been fleshed out, let me know. But I think part of the point is no actual fleshing out of this. So regardless, years ago, I used to think, okay, this country is so racist, the United States of America. How can people watch sports? Because let's say you're a fan, let's say you're in Pittsburgh. I was in university at this time, in college this time, in the hills of West Virginia, which was right 45 minutes away from Pittsburgh. And I was looking at the Pittsburgh Steelers and saying, okay, if supposedly these people around here are so racist, how can they be a fan of the Pittsburgh Steelers when that team, something like 75% African American? And by African American, I mean people who first generation, at least both their parents are American citizens. Now you have that kind of situation. So can you really be a fan of a sports team, a professional sports league, if you are racist? If you're racist towards black people, if you think I as a white person, I as an Asian person, I as a non-black, non-African American, whatever you want to call yourself, are better as a race than these other people, these blacks, then how can you watch them and be entertained by them and support them and go and pay hundreds of dollars to support these people and cheer them on? I don't think that's the case. I don't think you can have that situation. At least that's what I was completely certain about at that time, or as certain as I could. I was certain enough to repeat this to several people. Now, I was thinking about it recently, and can you and possibly you can. I know I have a video talking about how it's not slavery because it is optional to enter there. So yes, I'm not saying it's slavery, but you definitely, I think, no, you definitely can be racist and still watch professional sports. It's not like if you're white, how you want to define that, you'll only be relegated to watching like the NHL because National Hockey League, because I think there's like 5 black people in that league, maybe like 3 Asian people. But no, you can actually be racist because people watch horse racing. You watch horse racing, but you don't necessarily think horses are better than humans. I think most people, at least racially, as a human race, do think humans are a superior race to horses. But people will still watch horse racing and be excited by it and support it. Somebody could still watch dog racing and still go home and hit their dog. So yes, you can be racist and watch the National Football League. So I'm just kind of taking that back, just putting it out there. What do you guys think about that? Have you heard somebody say that? Because somebody else has to have thought of that. Did you personally think about that and have your reasons? Now, at the same point, I still don't think the United States of America is an entirely racist country or majority racist. I don't think it's any more racist than any other place that actually is racist. But yeah, now back to this. Part of why I thought about this, I was just watching actual commentary of the games, and you see the old games like to the 40, to the 30, to the 20, to the 10, and he's in. And you hear that announcing, and it's very similar to hearing the horse racing thing when the horses are running. It's like to the 10, like rounding the corner, to the 10. I mean, no, whatever, to the yardage markers or the feet markers or whatever they use in horse racing. I don't watch horse racing, but I think some of the announcers do sound exactly the same. Now, when another thing with the sounding of the announcing thing, is it sexist when people say, "Oh, we don't want female announcers announcing sports"? Because as I was listening to the sporting thing, a couple of female announcers have been trying to announce some games in the National Football League. I've been watching more of the NFL, just the clips of it on the NFL YouTube channel, which I think is the way the channel is going, the way broadcasting is going for these national leagues. As I mentioned in that previous video about NCAA and the NFL not actually being slavery, because I think the revenue stream is changing. The way people are taking in their content is changing entirely. Most people, a lot of Americans in the United States of America who really like sports have the ability to actually get a pretty decent home entertainment system, or actually go to their local bar or go to their friend's house where they can watch it in the comfort of a climate controlled room, have access to cheaper food and drinks, have the friends that they want to hang out with there and have that kind of excitement, be able to have internet connection and get the stats of the things going on. They have like fantasy football. Once the game is done, you're already home. You also have the ability to check in on other games. I know they're trying to do this when you actually go to the stadium, but I think that's a thing of the past. So anyway, back to the announcers. You have some female announcers coming out there, and their voices just don't sound right. You can call me sexist if I want. You can check that Cam Newton video where he was talking about, or a female reporter asked him about routes, like the different routes his receivers are running, and it was like, it's funny having a female speak about routes. He did a little chuckle. But for me, when I hear these female announcers, I don't have a chuckle. Their voices just don't sound, they just sound out of place recording these. Now, it's not just those kind of, I think if you had something like Chris Rock with his tone of voice coming out there announcing sports, it would also sound awkward. I don't know. What do you guys think about that? Do you think it's sexist when people say, okay, women shouldn't announce these sports necessarily? And another point where he goes with this female announcer thing, and another point where it goes with that slavery video that I talked about. As I said, this is not slavery, this is willing, and also goes to the racial aspect of this. Some people have said it is like slavery in these sports. Some people have said it's these racial issues in this. And I think when you watch like the NFL draft, or when you just hear people talking about athletes, saying, oh, this person's a beast, this person's a physical specimen. If you actually take some time and actually go and watch the NFL draft or something like that, and you hear what people are talking about the athletes, or just watch a game and they're talking about their muscles and their body and things like this, they are objectifying these people in a sense. They're talking about the physical attributes of these people. Now, if you have a situation with female sports in this way, where females are being talked about this way by male announcers. Oh, look at those legs. Look at the glutes on this female. Look at that chest. She looks like she can bench a house. Is that okay? Because when you have a situation like that, somebody equating, like I think they said something like Serena Williams is like a gorilla with gorilla strength. Someone said that, and they got in a lot of trouble for it. But male athletes are constantly called beasts and things like that. So the crossover, now will a female announcer be able to objectify the male athletes in that same way? Will it be treated in the same way, or will she be sexually objectifying these people even though they're just talking about their physical attributes? So just a few different thoughts I had on the NFL and things like that. How, yes, I do think you can be racist and watch sports. That's something I'm taking back from the past. I hadn't shared that with you guys before, but just a thought that I had while watching these different things. Have you guys been watching the NFL? If you watched it before, have you taken a chance to actually check out its YouTube channel and see the different kind of things that are actually being produced? Because from what I've seen, it seems like I hadn't been watching the NFL that much recently, but it does seem like this has been one of the best seasons that has existed. And has happened over the last couple of years, at least in my experience. But no one's actually going to watch these people. Like one-handed catches are just like a regular thing. It seems to be like every week there's like Madden type. Madden is a video game. It's like video game type things going on in this league, but the level of talent and the level of skill actually in there is really high now. And I think there's a lot of spillover. There's a lot of chances for other leagues to come up and finding other ways to ingest this product. And I don't think the NFL is going to be gone. I know this whole kneeling thing is going to be a change for the league. And some people are saying, yes, we're going to kill the league this way. You're not going to kill the league that way. The league might be killed more from like the actual injury situation with concussions and things like that, way before it's actually killed by people deciding to not watch. Not saying you should start watching, but hey, that's just my 2 cents on this. Thanks for watching. Like, share, and subscribe. Links below to the merchandise store. That's it for now.